Okay, I call to order the closed session meeting with the Mayor and City Council at 3:30 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you for being here. And thank you to those viewing remotely. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Here.
Councilmember Ibarra is absent at the moment. Mayor Pro Tem Figueroa?
Here.
Councilmember Charette? Here. Councilmember Canas is not here at the moment. Councilmember Flores?
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz? Here. And Mayor Tran?
Here, thank you. Moving on to public comments for closed session. Madam City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
We have two.
Okay,
Christian Shaughnessy and Kim Calvin.
thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, folks, members of the council, our mayor. My name is Christian Shaughnessy. I'm coming here today with regards to the anticipated severe risk of litigation that is on the closed session agenda. One does not know the details of what that litigation is yet. However, in the very likely event that it has to do with the Rochelle Clayton events, I would just like to point out that there have been moments in the past, certain votes to consider censures of council members that were predicated on a logic that had to do with this sitting council person is putting the city at risk of litigation by breaking the rules. If we have a council member that is breaking the rules and they then believe in a censure of other council members who break the rules, I think it's only fair that we get fair and equitable treatment. Councilman Sanchez, of course, voted to consider a censure motion to Kim Calvin when she was accused of doing things, and now he's accused of doing things. I look forward to you, Teddy, voting on your own censure consideration. And furthermore, when we have all of these major lawsuits and imminent lawsuits coming on down, these are things that pose severe risk to the city's financial health. And with that being the case, I think that if we're somebody that really cares about the fiscal discipline of the city, money that could go towards fixing potholes, fixing lights, hiring more officers, it would only make sense that we do what it takes to ensure that we have proper law and order in this city and that we take care of our city's budget. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. I don't see the second speaker, so we will.
There's no more speakers.
Okay, thank you so much. We will now go into closed session at 3:32 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We just had a lot of important, oh, not yet. Thank you. We now have a quorum. Good evening. Thank you so much for your patience. We just had a lot of items in closed session, so again, our apologies for coming out late, but thank you for allowing us to do some important business behind closed doors. Welcome and thank you for being here, and thank you to those viewing remotely. I call to order this joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the redevelopment agency of the City of San Bernardino, the San Bernardino City Housing Authority, and as the San Bernardino Joint Powers Finance Authority at 5:41 p.m. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Here.
Councilmember Ibarra?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Here.
Councilmember Charette? Here. Councilmember Canas?
Here.
Councilmember Flores?
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz? Here. And Mayor Tran.
Here. Thank you. We will now move on to invocation and pledge. We have Pastor Mason Jones from Generations Church will lead tonight's invocation. Please approach the podium at this time. And Lisa Mahan from Jefferson Hunt Elementary School will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please all rise.
Thank you for having me this evening. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community. We thank you for the city of San Bernardino and the people who call it home. As we gather in this meeting, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. Lord, grant the leaders and all present the clarity to make decisions that reflect your will. Fill their hearts with compassion, their minds with understanding, and their actions with justice and integrity. May we always seek your direction in all we do, and may our efforts bring peace, prosperity, and unity to our church, or to our city. We ask you for blessings on this council, our residents, and the city staff. May your spirit of love and compassion guide us in our decisions today and in the work ahead of us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Mason Jones, and thank you, Lisa. Now we will have a closed session report. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session on all items listed on the agenda except for item E related to the city manager meeting with the recruiter, and except for item F. Those items will be taken up at a future meeting. The only reportable actions are two. The first is related to item C. There was a motion by Councilman Charette, a second by Councilman Sanchez, and a unanimous vote to initiate litigation. It is a code enforcement receivership action. And the second reportable action is related to item E. There was a motion from Councilman Charette and a second by Councilwoman Canas, and a unanimous vote to appoint as acting city clerk Talisha Lopez, effective April the 5th, 2025. So commensurate with the last day of the current city clerk, which will be April 4th, Talisha will take over as acting effective April 5th. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Talisha, for stepping up to the role. We will now move on to presentations. The first item will be moved to a future council. Is that correct, Mr. City Manager? Okay, so we move to item number 2 for presentation. Certificate of Recognition of Aquinas Boys Basketball Division 3A CIF Champions. And this will be presented by Councilmember Dr. Treasurer Ortiz. Can you all come up to the stage, please? All come up. And the council, would you like to join us as well? Hello?
Thank you. Yes, please. That's the coach. Congratulations. 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 Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh. All right. I'm finally not the tallest person up here. All right. So, congratulations to Aquinas for CIF Championship Basketball Year. Now, I say this to you guys because I'm going to let you know I'm from Big Bear. I've never cheered for Aquinas, but I am so immensely proud of each and every one of you. You are amazing young men who are true role models for our community, who are setting goals and putting bars in places that future generations have to aspire to. So thank you for your dedication, for being scholarly athletes. That's a big thing. And so I was so happy the mayor and the council wanted to celebrate you all today. And we want to go ahead and hand out the certificates, and then Supervisor Baca's is that the second one? I'm sorry, never mind. All right, so on behalf of the mayor and city council of the city of San Bernardino, thank you guys so much for being here, and we're going to pass out your stuff. And Coach Daryl, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
First of all, just let me say thank you to the council. As a lifelong San Bernardino resident, born and raised here in this city, it's a proud moment. These young men, what they accomplished is not so much the end result of what they accomplished, but it was the process that they went through to achieve what they achieved. And that's one thing we stressed upon them. We taught them over and over again every day. It's not about the outcome, but it's about what you do every day, your daily habits. These young men were picked not to win a championship. They were picked not to make it. They were overlooked all year. All these young men here, except for two, did not play basketball at Aquinas High School last year. So we're looking at a whole new roster. I was in my first year as head coach, so I'm saying that to say they worked their tails off every single day. And what we did every day, we don't teach basketball. We tell people we don't have a playing style. We have a lifestyle. And a lot of things that we did revolved around classroom work, social-emotional work, spirituality work, working on self-development, and that translated to on the basketball court. And so we just couldn't be more proud of these young men right here.
We would also like to present you on behalf of the city of San Bernardino and Park and Recreation Public Works.
We finally got our street sign.
Now everybody's going to know where you're at. Our city manager is also an alumni of Aquinas, so proud moment. Do you guys want to try and get in for a pic? Sandra? Yes.
Oh, are you? Good for you. Just not the coach, so I'll involve somebody.
Can we hang on, he's our PIO. Thank you. Yes. I thought so. Oh, Real quick, sorry. Joe Baca's rep is here, so here we go, real quick. You're very celebrated today.
Well, this is exciting. Isn't this so exciting here in the city of San Bernardino? Look, the supervisor appreciates sports, and he knows how hard it is, how much dedication, perseveration, how much dedication it takes to win. And what we know is that you worked hard, you deserve this win, and we as a community are extremely proud of you. So congratulations. And on behalf of the County of San Bernardino and the Supervisor's Office, we'll present you certs right after, but we are so proud of you and continue the good work here on the field, outside of the field. We are proud of you, and thank you, thank you.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, congratulations, and you can take back these big old signs and be proud. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Nice to meet you. Yes, nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Oh, look, you guys are gonna have to walk with it. Thank you so much. You guys, you can keep walking. You can walk with it. Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Great job, okay? Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. All right. That was beautiful. Those large signs, I'm blown away. Thank you, staff. Wonderful job. Want to make sure we have quorum. Okay. We will move on to the next presentation, Animal Services Department Projects and Programs Update by our Animal Services Director, Chris Watson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I am happy to present an update on all of our programs and services to you and our residents tonight. So first off, I do want to thank a lot of organizations who have come out to support us, whether through grant funding. We also get some scholarships for staff to attend additional training and programs and courses. And we have some partners such as the Lang Foundation and the Paw Mission who offer services to our residents, including low-cost vet services and other things that our residents are in need of. For statistics, I just want to talk about 2024. Some of the highlights, we brought in because we had the additional partners come in July of last year. Last year, we brought in over 9,600 dogs and cats, almost 9,700. Most of those are dogs, so it breaks out to being roughly 40 60-20 as far as the percentages are concerned. And then it's an increase of 33% over 2023 numbers, again, because of that partnership going into effect in July. So we did have over 3,500 dogs and cats adopted by the public, which was an increase over the prior year. We have a huge increase in return to owners over the prior year. Some of that is due to some of our additional initiatives, like posting lost and found pets online. And so we've been putting out a weekly post on our Facebook and social media pages to try and let people know, hey, your animal is here, come and get them, and it seems to be working. We also added in Ring Neighbors and Nextdoor, so we're on those platforms pushing out the lost and found animals so that people can get their dogs back. And then we also added some additional partners like Paw Boost, which is I think you've probably seen it if you're on Nextdoor. There's a little thing that goes out when somebody loses a pet. It's kind of like a big I'm lost, come find me page, and all of our data is automatically uploaded to both Petco Love Lost and Paw Boost on a nightly basis. And Petco Love Lost has a really cool feature where they're able to do some facial recognition and let people know who've reported a lost pet that there's possibly a match at the shelter. The number of animals that passed away in care, it does happen. We don't always know the health status or things that have happened to a dog before they arrive at the shelter, or a cat. But the total number of animals that died in our care last year was down, and that's due to the mayor and city council's investment in our department and the addition of vet staff. So the prior year in 2023, we only had one registered veterinary technician. This year, we have 4 registered veterinary technicians and 4 vet assistants who are doing all of the daily medical care while we still don't have a vet. I'll talk about that in a later slide. They are able to get more eyes on the animals and catch things sooner. And then outcomes as far as transfer partners, over 2,000 dogs and cats went to our rescue partners. So those are nonprofits that pull injured, sick, or animals that have been at the shelter for a long time, and they place them into homes on their own. And we had 16 feral cats that were returned to their neighborhoods. We don't do widespread TNR because we don't have a vet. Right now, we work with the PAW mission, where residents take in their community cats on their own to get their animals altered and returned. But if we do have ferals, or we have an area, like 2 weeks ago, we had an apartment complex call us. They had a feeder, and they wanted some help with some feral cats, community cats, and our staff went out, trapped the cats. We had San Diego Humane on at the shelter that day. They did all of the spaying and neutering, and we returned them back. But we are not releasing friendly cats back into the street after alteration. And then our average length of stay is for dogs. That means the number of days that they're usually in our care. For dogs in 2024, it was 19 days, and for cats, it was 14, and that's a reduction in the prior year. One other thing that I do want to point out about our statistics as far as the intake and outcomes are concerned, those numbers are not going to match. So we're looking at outcomes in 2024, which could include animals that came in 2023 and were outcomed in 2024, and the same thing with intakes. We have animals that were brought in 2024, but may not be outcomed until 2025. So those two numbers are not going to match up. And then our save rate for dogs was 82% last year. It's a slight drop from 2023. Our save rate for dogs was 83%, and so we have a 1% decline. And then our cat save rate is 53%, and that is low because we are only taking in sick, injured, or underage, and so automatically those animals have a much lower survival rate than a healthy animal. And then I do want to field operations. So we do a lot out there. Our officers, this is the first time that we've ever had more than a handful of officers that have been trained and on staff. So ever since I've been here, that's been one of those positions that we've struggled to keep filled, just because it's a rough position for being out there. But we did over 9,000, almost 10,000 field activities in the city last year, and that includes doing investigations, barking dog, vicious dog investigations, bite investigations, responding to injured stray animals, going out with our team, with the police and Ernesto's team, to help out some of the unhoused population and doing vaccines and helping talk to them and see if there's a possibility that they want to surrender their pets, or trying to connect them with services. And then we also helped out the city of LA in the recent wildfires. So 4 of our animal control officers were able to go out and respond to the disaster and help residents in LA and get some important training for them to take to our residents. Our regional partnership numbers, as you can see, the highest intake for animals from 2024 was the city of San Bernardino. So our intake when we're looking at the partnership, we expected to bring in about 53% of the animals. Last year, we actually brought in 67% of those 10,000 dogs and cats. So the number of animals that are coming in from our city are still the largest number. You have cities like Grand Terrace and Loma Linda, who combined brought in 76 animals last year. Followed by Colton, Rialto, and Fontana, but all of those partner cities are still under 1,000 animals that they're bringing in. We are working with them to train their animal control officers. All of those cities, their animal control officers are part of the police department, and they don't always get animal welfare-specific training. It's been really helpful for us to talk to them and bring them on board. What we're seeing with some of those cities is a little more confidence in their animal control officers, an increase of animals being returned in the field in their city without even having to come to the shelter. And then I know the writing on this slide is really small, so bear with me. I wanted to go over some frequently asked questions that we get from the public. So that everybody kind of knows what goes on at the shelter. One of the biggest questions we get from the public is, oh, it's a holiday. Is nobody taking care of the animals? I do want to reassure everybody that we do have staff at the shelter 365 days a year, including those holidays. They're at the shelter cleaning, feeding, medicating those animals that are at our shelter. And then our officers are also either on call or on staff for those days. We may be switching dispatch calls over to PD, but there is somebody who will respond to emergencies on those days, including Christmas and New Year's and other large holidays. Our Animal Control Commission does meet quarterly on the second Wednesday of January, April, July, and October at 3:30 p.m. here in the Feldheim Library in the Kellogg rooms. And we welcome any member of the public to come. We post that agenda on our website, and it's in PrimeGov, so you can always see that before the meeting comes. And then one of the other things that we do get questions on is how much we feed animals. We do feed them a full bowl of food daily. Some animals get more food. Puppies and kittens, we try and leave food out all day long, including our quarantine area. If a dog is housed individually, they will get food all day long. The cats usually have dry kibble that they're nibbling on throughout the day. And the bowl is proportional to the animal size. So larger dogs will get a larger bowl of food, and it's filled. And usually what happens is in the morning, staff is dumping out kibble from the day before because they didn't eat everything. So we do use sedation prior to euthanasia in all instances where it does not prolong an animal's suffering. There are some cases where sedation is not recommended, including wildlife and underage animals. Unless an animal is surrendered or confiscated, we don't always know the history, including behavior or medical. And then pregnancies are not always noticeable at intake. A dog's gestation period is about 53 days on average, and we don't always know. The only sure way to find out if a dog is pregnant is to do an x-ray, and we don't currently have an x-ray at the shelter to do that. And sometimes they're not showing if the stray hold period, if they're adopted immediately, which is like anywhere from 4 to 10 days after intake. We may not know at all that the animal is pregnant. We are working on getting animals in for that spay and neuter after adoption. We've been sending animals home on a foster to adopt contract to schedule and bring back later because of the lack of a full-time veterinarian. And then the staff may occasionally misgender an animal intake. Sometimes they're a little scared or a little fearful, and especially if they've got a lot of fur and they're not allowing us to handle them, it's a little hard to see exactly what they are. And we're working with the team to fix that. So I think if they don't know, we're asking them to put a U because we don't know. And you'll see that a lot on feral cats in particular. We can't always handle them and see what sex they are. And then the department did receive approval from the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians to use that $300,000 that was allocated for community spay-neuter for animals at the shelter that were being adopted. And that is because we found out, we applied for the grant pretty soon into my stay at the department. I was here for 6 months when I applied for the grant, and I was hoping to utilize that for the community. What I found when I arrived there is that we were utilizing a private vet in the area for the spay-neuter post-adoption. What was happening is we were adopting animals out, then they would have to pay the price of the spay-neuter when they went to the vet to pick up their animal. That could range from $300 to $500. And so people were returning the animals to us because they couldn't afford it. And so we spoke with the grantor and explained the situation. These are pets from the community. In order for them to exit the shelter, the decision was made to transfer that money over there for the time, and then at a later date, we would look at how we could expand access to spay-neuter to the community, but without a veterinarian on staff, that is a challenge. We're working through facility improvements. As you guys know, the mayor and city council did approve $4 million in facility improvements. So one of the really exciting things is our new medical isolation ward is being completed. In this picture, you'll see one kennel up and other kennels on the side. The contractor has been working really hard. He expects to be finished with them next week. We were walking through there today and looking at all of the kennels that are up. It's going to be a game changer for us. It will hopefully help us further reduce some of the illnesses in the shelter. This will be a fully operational medical isolation ward for animals for dogs in particular, that are suffering from upper respiratory or other injuries. And then the new customer service center. So that big building that's in our parking lot, which the mayor and city council approved for purchase last year, it is finally ready. We had the inspection done last week for occupancy, and we're going to be moving in. The shelter is actually going to be closed to the public this upcoming Sunday and Monday, so that we can get the move over with all of our computers and equipment. And then we'll be reopening to the public on Tuesday, the 26th. The great thing about this is we have 5 customer service windows instead of 4, and then all of our outreach functions are there accessible by the public. So our volunteer coordinators, rescue coordinators, foster coordinators, as well as the Lang Foundation, all have an office that is publicly accessible for those people that are coming in to help us with the animals at the shelter. Then another really exciting thing for us is we will be opening up an adoption satellite center on 8th Street. The facility is located on 8th, between Medical Center Drive and Mount Vernon. The council approved the lease for that building back in October of last year, and we've been making improvements to turn it into an adoption center. There are 2 separate entrances. It's a 7,500 square foot building, and so there's one side will be dedicated for all of our cats, and the other side will be for our dogs. It was a urgent care center, so what we've done is all of those exam rooms that were for people for medical issues, we're converting them into little, like home-type little rooms for us to move the dogs. We're expecting to be able to house anywhere between 60 to 80 dogs at a time in that, and it's going to be animals that are highly adoptable that we're pushing over there, and having them in a quieter, more home-like environment for expedited adoptions. And then our new kennel buildings are on the way. We confirmed the delivery dates last week. The picture that you have up there with that map, all of those little red buildings are the new kennel buildings that are going to be coming in, and that is where they're going to be located. When we're done with this whole site revision, we will have 311 separate dog kennels on site. And we will also be utilizing the satellite center. So we will have room for just under 400 dogs between the 2 locations. And there's a little image of what the buildings are going to look like. Ours will be a little different color, but they are inside and outside. The inside has full HVAC, so it will be heated and air conditioned. So cool during the summer and warm during the winter. Another really exciting thing is our process for per diem veterinarians, and that is very much like a relief veterinarian. The mayor and city council approved those positions for us about a month ago, and we already have 4 applicants in backgrounds. Those positions, they'll be working on a daily basis, so that per diem position is what vets look for. They have the flexibility to work anywhere they want. They want to work in places where they can work a day here or a day there, and they don't have to worry about scheduling vacation days. So the vets that are coming on board, we've met a couple of them, and we're looking forward to bringing them on for vet care at the shelter, and then also getting caught up on our spay-neuter, making sure that we're able to get as many animals spayed and neutered before adoption as possible, and then also hopefully starting to schedule some outreach and clinics to the public. And then the other really exciting thing that we're doing with the move over to the satellite center, the former cat room at the shelter is currently being converted to a fully operational clinic. Because we'll have enough space for the cats at the offsite adoption center. That means that we'll be able to have a full surgery suite and a regular exam room in that space so that the vets don't have to try and work on the mobile unit. The mobile unit is great, but there's not a lot of space. And so the vets that we have on staff are having to be a little creative when it comes to larger dogs like Great Danes trying to do those surgeries because they don't fit in that room. So we're really excited about that. We're looking forward to utilizing that mobile clinic more often in our community once we get those vets on board. We also, I want to talk about the grant-funded voucher program that we got from UC Davis last year. As you are aware, we opened up appointments for those vouchers, and the appointments were all gone within 24 hours. And the community has been utilizing them, and mostly for spay-neuter. So that is definitely something that they are availing themselves of. Sometimes they're getting other medical care done at the same time, and those vouchers were worth $500 each, and they've all been issued, and we're getting them. They're still rolling in for reimbursement. And finally, our partnership with the PAW Mission for vet services. They have a fully operational clinic now in Fontana. They're offering low-cost spay-neuter to the community. They are still offering free TNR services to San Bernardino City residents. And we have several spots available on at least twice a month so that residents have those community cats, can take them to the PAW Mission to get spayed or neutered and then returned. So then we have community programs and services. So we do have a lot of volunteers. Last year in 2024, we had volunteers donated over 5,200 hours to the shelter. Doing things such as play groups, positive playtime, where volunteers are able to take animals out to the yards to work with them on basic training and commands and socialization. And then our foster program, where they care for underage, minor medical, and long-stay pets. Over 1,000 animals went to foster homes last year. Our community outreach program, and this program has only been in existence since July of last year. It's really starting to take off. Our community outreach coordinator was at a bunch of career days at the elementary and middle schools throughout the city. She had 6 scheduled for this week alone. So today she was at 2 different school sites talking to the kids. She's also working on an educational program to present to kids in the community, and we're hoping to expand that further. She's also doing homeless outreach, so she's at the 4th Fridays at Second Lake, and also going out with homeless services to offer vaccines and microchips and outreach to the unhoused with their pets. And then she's still offering or still working some events. And then we have our pet food pantry, which is still available once a month. This will be coming up this next Monday. And in 2024, we gave out over 876 bags of dog food, 432 bags of cat food, and a bunch of cat litter as well. And then I do want to talk about some of the other exciting programs that are coming soon. One of the things is a Doggy Day Out program, and so it's kind of like an extension of the foster program. Staff received a scholarship to attend a training session for this, and we got all sorts of materials for this program, including backpacks with the entire kit that somebody would need to take a dog out. And so what happens is the person picks up the dog, gets the kit, and they're able to take them for a hike or for a weekend, and they take pictures and post it all on Instagram or social media in the hopes that they're going to get animals adopted. We have something right now with the University of Redlands. A lot of their students are volunteering. They have an animal welfare ethics course, and the instructor sends all of their students to the shelter to volunteer. And we have some of the students were part of our sorority, so they've been taking animals home for the weekend to live in the sorority house with them, and they're pushing out all of the photos and videos of those dogs out on social media to help us out with adoptions. And then we have the field operations. We're working with our new field supervisor. We're going to assign different areas or beats to our animal control officers. And again, we haven't had the staff until now to really assign those, but we're looking forward to having, much like PD, having assigned officers to those areas so that they can really interface with the public, get to know them, get to know the areas, and really work to make our presence more felt out there and help with any recurring issues in those zones. And then really, really exciting, I'm going to have Marcus click on that link in a minute, but we've been working with the county fire department on microchip scanners for each and every fire station in the city. So we've rolled out a policy and training, and so pretty soon, if you find a lost dog in your community, you're going to be able to go to your local fire station where they'll be able to scan it for a microchip, and hopefully will help reunite that pet before it even needs to come to the shelter. So we worked with them to film a PSA that we're going to be pushing out on social media, so this is the first time any of you are going to be able to see this ad, and we're just really excited about this opportunity to help our residents and help their pets. So I'm going to let Marcus click on that. I think it's that control click, is it not?
While we're waiting, can we provide copies to the public? Because this was not on the packet.
You can safely bring it in. They will do their best to scan the dog for you. Animal Services is super excited to partner with San Bernardino County Fire to get microchip scanners into each of the fire stations located within the city of San Bernardino. And we will provide the community member with all of the resources they will need in order to get that pet safely back home with their family. Providing microchip scanners in each of the city fire stations is going to allow us to provide dogs like Sammy here an opportunity to get back with their owners before even stepping foot into a shelter.
All right. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz, you have a question?
I do. Thank you for that. I think it's been long overdue, and so I appreciate it. I am very happy to see the per diem vets, Miss Lydia Zavala. Okay, yes, very good. And then with the new existing office, which is
Yes.
wonderful, and you have individual handicap parking. People are going to be able to park inside again?
Yes, so we will have 2 handicap spots in the facility next to that, so we'll open that back up as soon as we're back open to the public. And parking, I know, is a challenge at the moment because we're on limited space there. But people, if they don't need a handicap parking spot, they can park at either side of the shelter in either of those water department parking lots.
And then, thank you,
Yes.
appreciate that. And then last, I know we're working on in the 7th Ward to do a pet a week. Is that something that you guys could consider bringing, like 1 pet a month to a meeting for adoption so we can start highlighting that?
Absolutely.
And the city manager, if that would be, would
Yeah.
work with her, something that'd be cool? I've just seen
Yes.
it in other cities, and I loved it.
Yes, and that is something that we've talked about, and now that we have the team to do that, like I said, we're pushing a lot out on social media, and we even have our partner cities sharing that information out on their platforms, and we'd love to start doing a Pet of the Week to push out to you guys.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ibarra?
Yes, thank you. And we have come a long way with the animal shelter, Kristen. I do have some questions, however. The first one I want to see, I know that grant funding ran out pretty quick. I have a dog that I adopted, and it's been waiting since September for spay, neutering, and everything that he needed. And I know there's a lot of community members who have adopted pets since, who are also waiting for that to happen.
Yes.
Is there any other nonprofits that you're working with that can work with the city to help out? Or is a mobile pet clinic going to do that with the veterinarians that we have already?
So once we get those per diem vets in, we'll be working on that schedule of that backlog, which is over 2,000 animals,
Right,
right?
and-
So, but we'll work on getting people in for those appointments when they open up and we have the vets on site. And we're going to be kind of doing a balance of pets that are in the shelter prior to adoption, as well as some of those animals that were already adopted, so that we can try and get caught up, because it's better for us to send them out altered. That would be my preference every single time. And until we get to that point, we're going to be working on weaving those in so that we can get everybody taken care of.
And I'm a little concerned because one of my tenants that I had adopted also a dog from the
Yes.
shelter. The dog has gone missing since, unaltered. I've posted on social media. Nobody's returned a dog. I've checked with the animal shelter. They have the new phone numbers. Nobody's contacted anybody for that dog. And he's unaltered. Somebody kept the dog. He was
Right.
well-trained. He was, I think, a
Yeah.
Belgian Malinois, German Shepherd mix.
Yes.
So we definitely have to catch up on those spay and neuters. The other question I had, is there a limit on fosters per residence by any chance right now? Because I
It's a-
know last year in January, I adopted 4 puppies at one point, and hey, nobody is free of the laws in the city. I've been cited for having a lot of dogs in my house. I have a pretty big property. I had fostered 4 puppies. And then I'm told that I have to get rid of some of my dogs on the notices that I received. So being that the animal shelter does not accept owner surrenders, what do we do if we have more than the 3 allotted dogs on our properties?
So we do accept owner surrenders. We work with people. We try and encourage people to rehome animals on their own. We're working on trying to get a platform in that will help people do that. It's kind of a web app that will help people rehome it directly with other people. But absolutely, that's something that we work with residents, especially on like hoarding cases or other instances where we go out and we talk to residents. It depends. For fostering, normally what we see is with puppies, and so we're talking about adult dogs, and that's the limit. It's 4 months of, or over 4 months of age, and that's where that limit applies. But usually we're working with the community to try and see what's going on. Usually when we've got fosters, a lot of those fosters are taking one animal at a time, or underage puppies and kittens, until they're old enough to come back.
Okay, because I do have one foster that I've been trying to contact the previous owner, and they're not coming back
Yeah.
for that pet. And
Yeah.
I'm stuck with the foster. I've
Right.
adopted my own pets from the animal
Yeah.
shelter here personally.
Right.
And to be getting a notice like that is like, what am I going to do with her? I can't get hold of her owner.
Yeah.
So that's concerning to me, that I get those notices. On the notice, they also pointed out that I have to put the feeding bowls public so that everybody can see that I'm feeding them. My dogs get fed once, twice a day.
Right.
I'm feeding them properly. But to be told that I have to put my bowls outside on the notice that I received was pretty troubling to me. So I don't know why an officer would put that on a notice, because I bring my dogs in every night.
Right.
When it's hot, they're inside. When it's cold or raining, they're inside.
Yeah.
I'm a very careful pet owner.
Right.
And those are just assumptions made by those officers that I really don't want our community members to also encounter. I have a neighbor who was also targeted. She does a lot of the catch and release. She takes the stray cats in the neighborhood over to the Humane Society. because there's no more vouchers for her, there's no cages for her, so she'll trap them and take them to the Humane Society. She pays out of her own pocket, and she got a notice because of the stray cats outside her house.
And so just to respond to that, so we get reports from the public, sometimes anonymous. They come in through the CRM system, or sometimes we get calls, and you know, we get reports like that animal doesn't have shade, it doesn't have food, it doesn't have water, and it may very well be that the owner is feeding them, and we don't see the bowls when we get there. But what we're going on is based on the report from the other member of the public. And we just have to let you know that that is something that we have to respond to, right? And usually like especially water, it may not be food bowls that have to be out all day long, but they have to have access to water. And that's the main thing. And usually when we're doing that, we're trying to get in contact with the resident and trying to talk to them and talk through those issues. I will tell you, I've had, instances where we know that a complaint is unfounded and our officers have been out there, but we continue to get follow-up because people are concerned. They're like, well, I don't see it. And we can tell them that, hey, we know we've been out there and everything looks good, but if they call and say, well, I haven't seen the water bowl for 2 weeks, we still have to go out and respond, right?
And I know there's...
And
like,
that's
I have
just,
doors open for my dogs.
right.
I can go in and out of the house,
Yes.
and whenever they
And-
want water, they'll drink their water.
Right, and
So-
that's important for my officers to know, because we note that information in our activities. So in our system, that information is logged in there. So if the person calls back or asks, does a follow-up request or a PRA request, they see that was verified. And usually we're looking at body condition score, but my officers will go out until they can make contact with the resident. And usually in cases where cats, that's where we're trying to help them out with the TNR. If we're able to get them in with the PAW mission, or we'll work with them to kind of reduce down. And so those are done on a case-by-case basis with the resident, and there is quite a bit of outreach involved
Okay,
in
so
those.
when homeowners or residents that
Mm-hmm.
have fosters or rescues or adopted pets,
Mm-hmm.
and they get these notices that are unfounded or just assumptions made by
Right.
whoever the neighbor was that made those calls, because obviously they went after my neighbor, and now she doesn't want to help spay and neuter cats,
Yeah.
the stray cats, because she felt targeted. And she was doing something good for the community, and now, we're gonna have all these stray cats. So when that happens, have the residents call the animal control office directly and speak to those officers, or to you yourself?
Yes, and so my officers will leave a notice, and we do encourage the owners to call us, and we'll work directly with them.
Okay, because there was no phone number on the notices.
Oh,
So if people
okay,
don't go online, I have them right here.
okay. Yeah,
So-
I think it's usually our office number that's on there, but I'll follow back up. There should be a sticker
just
on
says
there
when
that
it's
has
open.
that. Okay. I'll take a look at it. Mhm.
And then the last thing, I know this has been on everybody's radar, potato. If there's anything that the council can do to please return that pet back to their owners while there's whole investigations going on, and waive those fees to the family, because it is not fair that we have a pet that is still being questioned whether or not they bit
Councilmember-
somebody, and we're charging the pet owners for that.
We cannot be discussing
I
further
can't
about that. Okay,
comment
thank
on an
you.
open
Yes.
No, but there
investigation.
was a
Okay.
hearing recently, and I'm
Mr. City
told
Attorney?
that the pet is still being held by our animal control.
Yes, I understand it's an ongoing case, and it's not on the agenda to be discussed, so I recommend that you not engage in further discussion about it at this time.
But as a pet owner, it's not fair that our pets are being taken away from us and being held
Thank you,
against.
Councilmember.
against
Thank you.
any fund
All right,
funds
thank you so
or
much.
anything.
I don't see any other comments, so thank you so much, Director Watson, for the presentation.
Thank you.
We will now move on to City Manager update.
Okay, great. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. It's my pleasure to provide you with the City Manager update. First item is our street segment repair. Oh, wait a second here. Yes, this is exciting news for the community. This week, 6 bids were submitted for the pavement and repair of 14 streets across our city. The lowest apparent bid came in below the engineer's estimate of $6 million. Staff will now proceed with evaluating the bids to ensure compliance with project requirements before making a recommendation for a contract award at the City Council meeting on May 7th. And staff is looking at, because the bids came in lower, what other streets we can do to achieve maximum use of those $6 million. So we're pursuing that as well. Thank you. The next item is Take the Challenge to Save Water. The Water Department will once again be participating in the National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation in partnership with the Wyland Foundation. Residents and schools can take a pledge to save water with prizes such as $3,000 towards your utility bills and classroom supplies while learning about water conservation during Earth Month in April, and there's more information on our city website. In other city news, Sikkim Lake groundbreaking March 27th. It was delayed due to the rains we had last week, so it'll be on March 27th. The groundbreaking will mark our $13.8 million lake park improvements to be rescheduled for Thursday, March 27th at 10 a.m. The park will be closed for approximately 1 year while the work is being performed. Next, congratulations to Toni Collicott. She was recently recognized this week by Senator Gomez Reyes as a Woman of Distinction, and earlier this month as a Shero by the County Board of Supervisors. Among her many civic roles, Collicott has served for the past 26 years on the San Bernardino Water Department Board and its chair since 2007. In other news, business openings, there were 182 new businesses that took out licenses in February. Just yesterday, Quick Quack Car Wash celebrated their grand opening on Shannon Hills Drive near Kendall Drive. Quick Quack will be opening a second San Bernardino location on Hospitality Lane next month as well. Also, 985 Coffee on East Street celebrated its grand opening last week. They are already attracting a large number of students from San Bernardino Valley College. And this past Saturday, Time for Change Foundation Emergency Women's Shelter opened to assist women in need. And last but not least, our San Bernardino Valley College Applied Technology Building opens. The region's newest workforce training hub celebrated its grand opening on March 13th, officially opening its $101 million Applied Technology Building. This 114,000 square foot building includes 50 classrooms, labs, and hands-on training spaces for careers like auto technology, heavy-duty and medium trucks, water technology, HVAC, refrigeration, electricity, and electronics, solar power, and other high-demand fields. A welcome addition to our community. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. City Manager. We will now move on to public comments. At this time, public comments will be heard for items on the open session and items not on the agenda. To address the City Council, everyone must complete a speaker card and provide it to the City Clerk. Only those speaker cards turned into the City Clerk will be allowed to address the City Council. No late cards will be accepted. Each person should state their name for the record. If you do require Spanish interpretation, we do have an interpreter on site. Please raise your hand at this time to indicate you will need interpreting assistance. In addition, we have interpreting listening devices available in the back.
En este momento se escucharán los comentarios públicos para artículos de la agenda y artículos que no están en la agenda. Para dirigirse al Consejo Municipal, cada individuo debe completar una tarjeta de orador. Se debe completar la tarjeta de orador y entregarla a la Secretaría Municipal en este momento. Solo aquellas tarjetas de orador entregadas a la Secretaría Municipal podrán dirigirse al Consejo Municipal. No se aceptarán tarjetas tardías. Cada persona debe indicar su nombre para el registro. Si necesita interpretación en español, tenemos un intérprete presente. Por favor, levante la mano en este momento para indicar que requiere servicios. También tenemos aparatos disponibles para escuchar la Junta en español.
Thank you. Gracias. We have 25 speakers tonight, so each speaker will have 3 minutes. Madam City Clerk.
Richard Mendoza, Al Palazzo, Mike Hartley, Kim Calvin, Joe Salas, Luis Ojeda.
Yeah, you could turn on the mic. Sir, your name was called correct, so you just turn on the mic and state your name for the record.
Okay, I was here last week. I can talk right now, correct? Okay. I was here last meeting. I was here, and you guys turned around, and we gave you some pictures and stuff about the area that we live in with all these trucks in this area, and they're not really, they're not supposed to be in this area. They're not supposed to be parked in this area on certain parts of the yards. I just want to know if you guys even looked at the pictures and you didn't throw them away, correct? And you're not going to answer me and you're not going to tell me what's going to be done, but I believe code enforcement needs to go in there. They need to go in there because there's so much dust. And then you got the school there, the Rock Church, you know, and the Rock Church has all those kids there and all this dust and all the fumes in this area. And you say that you lived in that area before. That's probably why you moved out, because of all that. Yeah, but you left us there. Who takes care of that area now? Who is the, yeah, council member, 3rd Ward, who does that? You're not going to say. Oh, I got to look. Okay, I got to look it up. I got to look and see. Okay, well, really, you guys need to look at this area. You need to send code enforcement in there to really look at this area because it's gone crazy. It's going wild. I mean, people are coming in and buying up land, and then they're just doing what they want to do. There's a guy down the street from me that built a house on his property. I'm sure that he didn't go to the city to get any kind of things done. You know, like turn around and get the, take the sketches to the city or whatever, you know. It's just a sad thing that you don't answer nothing. Where would I go to find that out, to find out where you would answer these questions? You're not going to tell me either, huh? Okay, all right, that's really kind of sad there, too. Anyway, I got 27 minutes. You know, I could tap dance for you, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to answer your questions. But it is really kind of sad that you don't answer any of the questions. And there's nowhere that I could go or just probably see you on the street somewhere and ask you. That'd be the best thing. I want to talk to this guy, okay? I want to talk to him on the street. He looks like a man of culture, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll have staff speak to you. Thank you.
He is.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Okay.
Al Palazzo.
Yes, staff will be speaking to him. Thank you.
When my
next
mother came to visit me at UCSB in 1967, she sat on my bed and cried. She could not believe that one of her children was at the university. She lost both of her parents at age 5 and was only allowed to go to school to the 8th grade. She said, "Do not forget that you are from San Bernardino. It will always be the foundation of your life to make the right decisions." 4 years later, I graduated from college. My aunt came over to visit my mother. She came through the back door and saw my mother washing dishes. She blurted out, "Estás loca? Are you crazy?" My mother was washing dishes wearing my college graduation cap and gown. She told my aunt, "Today I graduated." In 2 years, cancer takes her life. I leave law school at UC Davis. I go to work in the fields in Northern California, hoping to find peace and to understand why my big dreams do not matter anymore. While working in the fields, I prayed, "Dear God, help me understand what is your plan for my life." I would hear my mother's voice, "Do not forget you are from San Bernardino." I have always felt I owed a debt to all my teachers and prominent citizens of San Bernardino who opened a door that changed my life. My professional experience has given me the knowledge to fix our zoning and update our general plan. When I went to UCB, there were 13,000 students, only 20 Latinos and African Americans. I was so homesick for the diversity of San Bernardino. I asked my mother to send me the Javier Chile album, Payaso. On the cover, his face is painted as a clown. When he starts singing, he is laughing, but then he is crying. Over nearly 50 years, sometimes I feel like this when I am not given the opportunity to share ideas to rebuild San Bernardino. I was told by a prominent attorney 50 years ago he felt that way. Now I understand. Only if you know what it is like to have a lifelong dream can you appreciate what I am saying. San Bernardino needs a city manager that has a vision.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've left an envelope for all of you, and I've sent it to the recruitment person.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please state your name.
Mike Hartley. Mr. Gallardo, welcome aboard. You got more guts than I have. Good luck. Now, normally I'm a negative guy, and you all know that. But I got to tell you, when driving up East Street next to Sturgis, I saw a beautiful building, like a 14-story building. Now, that shocked me. And I thought to myself, God dang, man, when was the last time I was down East Street? I never even saw this building going up. And it beats the car washes and the fast foods. I mean, that is a beautiful building. And then as I got down the end of East Street, by the animal shelter, I saw another building going up, another beautiful building. Now, the only thing that actually concerned me about the whole thing is the employees. Will they live in the city of San Bernardino, or will they live in other communities? And I got to tell you, listening to the chief at Coffee with the Cop, we are safer than we've ever been. Statistics are going, in the right direction. But the problem we have is it looks unsafe. And people who work here don't want to live here, and they don't give a damn what the statistics say. They don't believe it. Honestly, 20 code enforcement officers, I say it again, we need 40. We need to make this community where people want to live in this community. That's what we need. We can have all the jobs here in the world, but if the people don't live here, it does no good. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Or Madam City Clerk.
John Schollenberger, Martha Romero, Georgia L., Christian Shaughnessy, Donald Monty, and Jim Smith.
Please state your name.
Hello, good evening. This is Luis Ojeda. I want to be positive as well. So I want to congratulate the police department for the great job that they've been doing. So the perception, hopefully, is going to start changing, that we're not the 10th most dangerous city in the nation, right? But at the same time, it's time for us to have accountability to ourselves. The other day, I was able to talk to the new interim city manager. Thank you for that. And I think we have a very positive conversation. And I feel that in this city, we are very good at pointing fingers and being negative, and we all have the greatest ideas how to fix the city, right? But not many people is willing to roll up their sleeves and work. Everybody can share a flyer, can talk, can point fingers. But I feel that I have the moral authority to say what I say, because not only do I get my hands dirty, I spend my money, my work, as well as, along with many others that care for the city. But I feel for the longest time, people is trying to do the right thing, but what's the right thing? Because everybody, we have 7, 8, and everybody thinks that they have the magic bullet. Why don't you guys start talking to each other, and maybe you guys get to agree to something, and maybe we can start moving the city forward. Because it doesn't matter how many people we replace and we play the same games, nothing is going to change ever. And I was talking to the interim city manager about downtown. We have many people that own buildings in downtown for years, since I came to the city almost 7 years ago, and they haven't done anything. I know I do real estate and I speculate on properties. But if you're going to buy buildings, I think you should do something positive with them, okay? And we also have a lot of empty lots that we talk about that, most of them are owned by absentee owners, and they don't even know they have a lot of trash, overgrown weeds, and guess what else? Homeless, okay? And everybody talks about code enforcement, and I do too, but I feel that if code enforcement act proactively in reaching out to those, absentee owners from buildings and empty lots and say, hey, why don't we do something about this? Maybe we can change the perception of downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Council. My name is Georgia. I want to thank Chris for that presentation, and I want to be positive also, and positive that almost 100% of what she said is BS. And you guys all fall for it, because it sounds great. It really does. I've been fooled by her many times. And I know you too, Treasurer, you support her, but you need to see through the BS, okay? There's no way we are saving 83% of the dogs from last year. No way. Also, that doesn't include the animals that they don't pick up off the street. Now, this fireman program, I can break down this presentation, but I don't have the time. This fireman program sounds great, but take into consideration that bites in this city have increased so much so that the grand jury investigated animal control. Okay, so what you're doing is you're telling our community members to take a stray dog that they have no familiarity with to the fire department, now burdening the fire department with their job. Okay, we can all applaud it as a great thing, but it's not. Because if that dog bites that person, now you have a dog with a bite history that is probably going to die, and a person who is going to sue the city or whoever owns the dog. It's not a great idea. By the way, the woman you see in the pictures is Leslie de la Camara, who catapulted from the volunteer coordinator position all the way up to shelter manager in less than a year. How many months? Just a few months. How does that happen? And that is an indicator of what is wrong with animal services. If you are part of their team and you're loyal, you will move up. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the hell you're doing, okay? And that's what's going to happen. She's going to go on when she leaves our city, and she'll be an assistant director somewhere else, not having a clue, like Miss Watson over here. She's got 19 years under her belt. Still can't get it straight here, okay? We have a wonderful new customer service. That came first. Where are our kennels? Where are the kennels? Okay? It is not an achievement. We don't need more space for admin. We need space for these animals that are dying every single day in a facility and on our streets in horrible situation. As far as the homeless, there's no outreach. There's no outreach in our city. Most of the people that live in this city don't go to social media to find their dogs. They don't even use social media. I didn't even know anything about social media and finding any animals or posting them lost until a couple years ago. And I've lived here few years. So it's all a crock. Thank you anyway. By the way, one of our caretakers was attacked by, she's out there taking care of the cats that you're dumping on the street. She was attacked by one of the residents for feeding those cats.
Thank you.
So we need help.
Next speaker, please state your name. Please turn on your mic. Thank you.
Okay. Joe Salas, good evening, City Council Mayor. I want to direct everyone who will be watching this at home and my fellow residents and business owners and visitors to the beautiful city of San Bernardino to take the city manager's survey. I found it really easy by just doing a Google search. I put in city manager survey, city of San Bernardino. And on there you can find issues related to what kind of personal skills you want for our city manager, what kind of issues are important to you, like downtown development, roads, police safety. You can rank order them. And then also what kind of a career experience. When I think of a local executive, I think about my experience back with the San Bernardino City Unified. For anyone who knows who Mr. Ariellano is, Mauricio, he's a new superintendent with this school district. And I think one of the things that's really important for this governmental entity is relationships within the city, because without relationships you can't do anything. And so being involved in the community, being publicly accessible to residents, because oftentimes it doesn't have anything to do with the issues that we may be talking about up here, but just the idea that someone is heard. So I urge everyone again who's going to be watching this, and also my fellow residents, to take the survey. It took me just about 10 minutes while I was sitting here in the back. It's pretty easy. Take it to your abuela, take it to your little kids. It would be great to see the city bridge get this to our school district, the community engagement. You got a live population of about 40,000 students who will be in the city longer than we will ever be. Community engagement, get it to them, and they can probably give you the survey. SurveyMonkey, they have the platforms for it to take it for their kids, because they do things like with the environment. I mean, their school environment, school climate, and stuff like that. They play in our parks, they ride their bikes on our roads, so they have an equal say in that. And then lastly, when we do get to the issue of the city attorney, if and when that contract comes up for debate, it would be great to see this a public survey on what kind of legal services we want within the city. Really open it up and continuing to do that, because it's very important who's sitting next to our city manager, as we see on the national level how important good legal advice is in everything that we do, whether it's just moving a bathroom or doing a community workforce agreement. Everything requires law. And so it's very important to have competent legal, and we know in California, we are no short of good, skilled attorneys, right? It's the hardest state to become an attorney, and so for anyone who's ever taken the bar exam or failed the bar exam. So that's all I have. Very much. Thank you, City of San Bernardino. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
John Schollenberger. It's now been almost a year since the council released the Susie Sorensen manipulated summary investigation report about Kerrigan. Almost 1 year since Dr. Treasurer Ortiz broke down that report point by point by point and showed how the city was lying. Now, according to the complaint filed by Rochelle Clayton, we know that the council discussed this in June of last year and was told that the investigation reports by JL Group are not credible. Fred, it also states that you verified that information with another attorney, and yet none of you did anything to correct the lie that you published against Councilwoman Calvin. And let's not forget Councilwoman Ortiz. You all made sure to unredact her name so that the report could be used against her campaign for council. Then, even though you knew you lied to the public, you still voted to give away $800,000 to someone who did not deserve our money, but only got it because Susie Soren and you, Fred Charette, accepted liability, and Damon Alexander left his city manager recruitment folder with the public. This is why you could all not censure Kimberly Calvin, and now we know the truth. The city attorney also allowed the same damage to be done to Liddy Gutfeld, but that figures. Oh, and by the way, Ted, the word is going around now that John Valdivia is calling residents in the First Ward, telling them not to support recalling you. Just when we thought he was gone, I knew he was never gone. He's still lurking about. And there's much more to come.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, folks, brothers, sisters, members of the council, our mayor, members of the public. I am not here to give an award today, but I am here today to give some accolades. I just wanted to thank Cassandra Cersei and Gabriela Leon from our city's Housing and Homeless Services Department. They've been doing good work. They recently had a meeting with Family Assistance Program. We have wonderful things to look forward to with regards to Navigation Center, item number 9. Item number 4 in the consent calendar, having to do with rapid response funds for the Salvation Army, is also something that seems particularly promising. And as the guy who never shuts up about the Navigation Center, I'm happy to see that the foundation is literally about to be laid. There's a great deal of human suffering out there, and it's good to see that we do have some meaningful progress on the way to cutting down those, not just TAY unhoused numbers, but also adult unhoused numbers as well. On that note, to follow up on a comment I gave in closed session, Mr. Schollenberger made a very good series of points. For the folks who don't happen to remember, it was not too long ago politically that when Councilwoman Kim Calvin was in office, there was a vote, a very specific vote, that took place and passed that had to do with agreeing to the idea of investigating, of holding a vote on censuring Kim Calvin for doing things that allegedly put the city at litigation risk. One of the folks that was a very strong advocate of doing that was Councilman Theodore Sanchez. Now it appears the city is in legal danger because of his actions having to do with our former interim city manager, Rochelle Clayton. And so all I am saying is that logically, if we are to be intellectually honest, and if we are to have civic and moral virtue, if you're going to do an investigation, if you're going to hire people to investigate into the claims that Kim Calvin did, Teddy, it would only make sense you do the exact same thing for yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to go and give you an award like last time. I'm just saying, if need be, I could read your own words to you. It just makes sense, man. And so with that being the case, I don't look forward to you doing the right thing, but just putting it out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Yes, Donald Monti with San Bernardino Development Company. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and hello to the newly electeds, some of you who I have not yet met. I'm here tonight to just tell a little story. And the story is about back in March of 2021, when we were selected as master developer for your city. And I believe there was an extremely rigorous vetting process that took place that we were selected for the right reason. And back in May of 2023, for an abrupt, unknown reason that we've yet to really validate, we were terminated from our agreement, and I believe terminated for the wrong reasons. So where does that leave us? Unfortunately, I felt compelled to bring an action against the city. And I'm sorry, as community members, because in my 40 years of doing business, and this can be checked out, in dealing with several dozen municipalities, I have never, ever instigated litigation against a municipality, nor have I ever had litigation instigated against any of my companies. So what I'm really here to say is that what I'm doing is to serve to everyone here as a commitment that we're not going away. And the reason I'm saying that is because I believe very strongly that we did the right thing and we can still do the right thing for your community. And by doing the right thing, what I'm saying is that we are 110% committed to helping to solve the homeless problems here in the city. And I look at it this way, let's call it unhoused population. And this unhoused population, 70% of these people are employable. They just made a wrong turn along the way. Let's give them a break. I'm looking at my time because I'm not used to 3 minutes, so I'll do my best. Secondly, we're committed to the affordable, or let's call it attainable housing situation here in the city. We're also committed to helping solve the problems that exist with your animal population. As a developer, I know we can add to the solutions. So in conclusion, what I want to say is that after 2 decades of the city trying to reinvent their downtown, we came up with a plan and we came up with a solution. And I can only say, think big, think bold, and think about things that are implementable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, could you do me a favor? Can you send an update on that to us with the case?
I'll look into
Thank
it,
you.
yes.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Lynn Ware, Dominic White, Ricky Van Johnson, Junior Carrillo, Paige Miller, Selena M.
Mayor, council, staff, my name is Lynn Ware. I'm president of the Neighborhood Association Council. We'd like to thank you once again for your ongoing support, with special gratitude to Tanya Romo and her awesome staff at the Neighborhood Resource Center. This year, the Neighborhood Association Council, also known as NAC, has identified the need to promote emergency preparedness, to educate and inspire community members to become prepared for their families and their neighbors. We have prioritized this effort by inviting County Fire and CERT members to give guidance at Neighborhood Association meetings. We realize that becoming disaster prepared is a daunting task. It really is. So we start by encouraging residents to put together go bags, one for each member of a household. Now I want to ask everybody in the room, how many of you have a go bag? Ooh. Well, kudos to those that do, and some of the rest of you have some work to do. Also important is preparedness on the neighborhood level. First, are we able to assist not only our family, but are we able to help our neighbors? We're making a big push this year for more people to take the CERT course, and I can proudly say that 4 of our very own NAC members completed the course and became certified just this last weekend. Secondly, it is critical that communication be maintained at the neighborhood level during an emergency. So we're looking for community members who are interested in becoming ham radio operators. So far, we've identified 6 people who will be taking the ham course in the coming weeks. Now I'd like to share a few announcements. Our Del Rosa Neighborhood Association, Dr. Nag, is having a disaster preparedness meeting on Monday, March 24th at 6:30 p.m. at Grace Baptist Church on 1333 39th Street East. Important information and we hope inspiration will be provided. Materials to create a go bag will also be available to attendees. Next, Vermont Neighborhood Association will be sponsoring our 2nd annual Appreciation Day for law enforcement and first responders. Meals will be served from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 15th at the Little League headquarters. NAC volunteers will be supporting this event as we show our gratitude to these valued community members. And finally, we're super excited to announce the reactivation of the Civic Center Downtown Neighborhood Association. They are launching with a networking mixer on Thursday, that's tomorrow, March 20th, 6 p.m., located at the Enterprise Building. They invite city officials, stakeholders, and community members to be a part of initiating a collaborative effort toward building relationships and revitalizing the downtown. Please join us in offering your support and encouragement to Ray Blum, Civic Center Neighborhood Association President, and his board as they take this important step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor and Common Council. Ricky Van Johnson. In the winter of 2023, I came before the City Council to address an independent investigation conducted by the JL Group law firm regarding leaks from closed session that were attributed to then 6th Ward City Council member Kimberly Calvin. I stated then, the investigation carried out by the JL Group law firm was maliciously slanted to create a plot that Councilmember Calvin leaked information out of closed session. To make matters worse, JL Group investigator Jason Kravitz interviewed me and concluded in his report that I lied. I'm still angry about that. Now let's fast forward to former city manager Rochelle Clayton's complaint against the city. In her complaint, attorney Irma Rodriguez Moesa stated that JL Group produced reports that did not seem credible. She further stated it was like the investigator started with the conclusion and backed into it. Also in the Clayton complaint, Councilmember Fred Charette later stated he had spoken with attorney Rodriguez and was informed that it was not just one investigator who report are not credible in court, but the whole firm. Charette said that means all their reports are not credible? Kim Calvin's too? All that to say, welcome, Bill Gallardo, as the interim city manager. There's a lot for you to sort out in your short time with the city, with issues regarding the city clerk, the city attorney, and assorted lawsuits, some pending and others to be filed. I wish you well. Thank you also for putting on the website the survey. That was very well. Congratulations also to Aquinas High School once again for winning CIF in basketball. Special shout out to Coach Darryl Pegram, son of former council member Calvin, and to players Malachi Jones and Josiah Warsaw, who attend church with me at Ecclesia Christian Fellowship. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, City Council people, my name is James Smith, lifetime resident of the city of San Bernardino. I just want to share a couple positive things about the city of San Bernardino. First of all, I noticed that Aquinas High School was a great, and you notice what color they had was blue, right? Just like the Dodgers. The Dodgers won again today. They have a 2-0 record. They're undefeated, and let's give them a round of applause for the Dodgers. This is what we need to do for San Bernardino, have a winning city, just like the Dodgers, just like Aquinas, just like the wonderful report we heard from Animal Shelter and the city manager. I think it was a tremendous, tremendous council meeting. It's an honor to be here. And I wanted to take my hat off to the wonderful Park and Rec department head who gave an excellent report at our last meeting of the Arts and Historical Preservation Commission. I am honored to serve as the mayor's appointee and was elected as the chairperson for that commission, and I'll be looking forward to being very active to working with the city. That's important. Another area that's so positive for the city of San Bernardino is the San Bernardino City School District. You see everything's happening in the city of San Bernardino off my alma mater, San Bernardino High School. It's tremendous. I drive by and my heart is so thrilled at all they're doing, not only that facility, but also the other schools in the city of San Bernardino, and I want to thank them for that. It's tremendous. It's a partnership. The partnership is the city of San Bernardino, the school district, and now the Arts and Historical Preservation Commission. And we want to work with you to make city more attractive so people want to move here to visit our city, and we can do that. I think we have an opportunity to do that, and I want to give you the opportunity to serve and work. And I wanted to thank Treasurer Chase for coming to our last meeting. She actually was there and heard what we were talking about in that excellent report for the Park and Rec, all that they're doing in the city of San Bernardino. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Selena, City Council. So today's animal presentation is almost laughable. At this point, 83% save rate. I want to recognize actually who are the real heroes and saviors to probably that percentage for the San Bernardino shelter, and that's to the rescuers. So they take the medical tagged, the youth listed, and cover all those expenses. That also includes the spay and neuter. So they deserve recognition, absolutely 100%. So thank you again to the rescuers. At intake for the past year, over 4,000 dogs is absolutely insane. That's why we had fought for over a year, why we needed to focus on our own and not take other locations' burdens. So you should also list in your presentation next time the adoption returns, as well as the found astray from said adoptions. That would be great transparency, because that definitely happens. So female A577129 brought in as a stray March 12th was in active labor, and by the end of the day was killed. The rescuers were set notification for plea to pull, but with just a few hours, how is that even possible to be pulled off? We need a vet. Any dog presenting any injury or medical tag just gets killed. How is this okay? San Bernardino City Shelter is just a murder shelter, point blank. What are the best practices? As a bandage, we have gotten per diem vets finally, after how many years? I did analytics for the pay range for the average salary in our surrounding areas for a veterinarian. So Riverside is paying $138,896 for their veterinarians. Upland is paying $164,028 for their average salary. So what is San Bernardino offering? Who's looking into this? How are we gonna get ahead and hire a veterinarian if we're not even gonna be up there with the surrounding areas? It makes no sense. So it just sits as a back burner, and the animals that still continue to get killed daily, that's the main focus. That's what I don't want to be overshadowed. Yes, we have great things in place, but at the end of the day, the killing still continues. And that's why I and my other friends here that talk for the animals, why we continue to present to you guys. That's the issue. I'm gonna leave you with the quote. An animal doesn't own anything apart from its life, and we still manage to steal it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
Lydia Savala, Tiana, Tammy Valdivia, Dima Jaredritis, Jan Robinson, Christopher Chibelli.
Junior Carrillo, good afternoon. Mayor, council, and staff. I'm going to be positive with no but. So it's going to be all positive. I'm privileged to be a commissioner on public safety. I get to witness a lot of good things that happen in our city, and unfortunately, we seem to strive on the negative, and we want to just beat up on the negative. An officer was killed in Victorville. Sometimes we don't realize till it hits close to home. I don't know how many are aware of the fact that our own Chief Goodman hired this gentleman in Upland. Chief is not here because he's at the Virgil tonight for that officer. A lot of the PD, our own PD, knew that officer because he played on the football team for the PD, not our PD, but just law enforcement in general. They're having a game Saturday night, as a matter of fact, and some of our officers are going to be there in their morning because this was their friend. I asked the council if it's possible that you could close in a word of silence for Officer Hector Guavas. Today, I like to focus, when I speak, I'm just going to focus on one department and one person because 3 minutes you really don't have justice. So today it's going to be PD. 2024 was a great year for San Bernardino Police Department when we have the staffs to prove it. 302 sworn officers. When Chief Goodman came, we only had 278. That's only a 24 increase. But here's the thing. The word attrition, which means the people you lose yearly, which is about 20. So in the 2.5 years, you can add maybe 40 people. So in essence, since Chief Goodman's been here, we've added 64 officers. 135,500 calls for service, that's 371 calls per day. 100 arrests made, 10,000, that's 27 per day. Firearms recovered, almost 1,000, that's 3 a day. Murders, 25, down 28%. Lowest since 1999, that's 25-year low. Robberies, 542, down 19%. Lowest since 1995, 29-year low. Burglaries, 1,017, down 18%, lowest since 1995, 29 years. Under the leadership of Chief Darren Goodman and all the men and women that serve our city, thank you. You are appreciated. We have officers in the back. It's okay to clap. It's okay to stand up. These are the men in blue that stand up for us in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name. Turn on your mic, please. Thank you.
Lydia Savalet. I wasn't going to comment on Potato, but just a quick overview, very quick. He was confiscated on February 5th. The hearing with no documentation whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The hearing date was scheduled for February 27th. In no other jurisdiction is a constituent required to do a public records request for the documentation that substantiates the reason, the justification for the confiscation. So this young couple has to spend $3,500 on an attorney to ensure their due process rights. And fortunately, this firm that has a charitable heart actually did about $700 of the work pro bono. And I just find that absolutely outrageous. The hearing actually took place last Thursday, and the documentation was not provided pursuant to the public records request until a day after the first hearing date, because your constituents are treated like crap. And it just infuriates me. I had no idea that I was going to get this upset, but it is pretty upsetting. So the reason I'm here this evening is to address data analysis as a benchmark. The reason that the numbers don't make sense to the public is that dead animals on arrival represent almost 24% of the animals coming in. That's about 1,600. And how do I know it's not included? Because this book, Every Nose Counts, using metrics in animal shelters, specifically states that dead animals are of no consequence. So the benchmark should be how many dead animals came in, this year versus last year. Well, in 23, you had about 1,600 dead animals. In 24, you had another 1,600 dead animals. Those are the animals that are left on the street to fend for themselves. So, and then you have the 23 database, which included 7,028 animals. But a fourth of them came in dead, and a fourth of them died from euthanasia. That leaves 3514. That's exactly 50%. So how do I know my numbers are right? I hand you a deck of cards. There's 100 cards. I ask you, split that deck in half, and it comes out to exactly 50-50 cards. But now we've got 7,028 cards. I say, cut that in half, and it comes out to exactly 50%. That's how I know the data is being manipulated. And we have to do comparative year-to-year analysis to be of any consequences in terms of whether we're improving.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Yes. Good evening, Paige Miller.
Thank you, Chief Goodman and members of the San Bernardino Police Department. The Coast and Peace teams have been very successful. Their proactive policing proves that enforcement and compassion are compatible. The Chief's stats that indicate crime drops in certain areas to levels of the 1990s is truly commendable. And what the PD has done, confiscating fentanyl off the streets, is unbelievable, the numbers. Many community members finally see the light. They see through the paid protesters and the paid agitators. They want strong policing, strong DAs, and a strong council to turn their city around. So what do we need from this council? We need you to stand with Chief Goodman and help educate any California state legislator that would undermine enforcement of Prop 36. We need you to have a united front to put pressure on state officials for implementing care courts. That would allow a family member or state official to be appointed conservator for those who are unable to make responsible decisions for themselves. This is a missing link. A figure of 689 chronically homeless in San Bernardino was reported at yesterday's Coffee with a Cop. So we need care courts for those people. Regarding the city manager now, we're tired of hearing the mindset of some officials who have no vision. Low-income housing, it's always warehouse, fast food drive-through, self-storage facility. Enough. We need a vision and goals and beautification that also attract young professionals, small businesses, and families. San Bernardino once was a healthy city that attracted that diverse background from all. And golden parachutes, well, let's have something concrete from a city manager before they actually run away with another golden parachute in this city. And finally, regarding animal services, we advocated for a director. We advocated for a director for years. So tonight's, yes, presentation was long overdue. You're absolutely right. And it's good to hear we have 4 per diem vets. And let me just say, if Animal Action League in San Bernardino County can do it, then why can't we? Something wasn't right there. So that spay-neuter mobile, that needs to be out. Thank you, San Manuel. That needs to be out every weekend. It needs to be in a park, every ward, and in maybe Stater Brothers parking lot. Every weekend. That's how you take care of this problem. We need counsel. We need to make sure that your constituents know it is mandatory to spay and neuter your pet, not optional. You are part of the education process, and that has been lacking. I have suggested you bring the animals to the council meetings. So good to hear that that might become a reality.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Dima. In my country, I am a professor with behavioral science. And additionally, I also own business with government consulting with the politicians in my country. I wanted to bring up a case with the, specifically the animal shelters. You know, unfortunately, you know, animals have to be euthanized. This is just a way of life, it's a fact. But concerningly, I see that when these animals are euthanized, they are sent to a processing facility. This processing facility, these animals are turned into dog food, cat food. To me, this is like cannibalism. This is not right. Why are we sending the dead animals to processing facility for them to be eaten like dog food? This is some sort of cannibalism. Additionally, also, I read that when they euthanize the animal, they can also send the animal for science, like a cadaver, but they make $250 per animal. This sounds like some sort of collusion, because there is a financial benefit to actually, you know, kill this animal. So my proposal would be, why don't we do something with these animals so their bodies don't go, you know, in vain? Why don't maybe we somehow get the animals and prepare some sort of different stuff, maybe like not food, but food for someone else, not other dog. Because if you think about it, other dog, this is again like cannibalism. But what if we do for someone something else instead? Maybe different animal, or for people that are hungry, different type of stuff. I think would be a good solution instead of having a direct consequence with sending animals to some sort of processing facility. I think this is not right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, can you please work with the director to find out where the animals go once they've been euthanized, so we can have that on the record for our city? Or if you can already answer that, I think it's just important.
So on the testing, it's actually illegal to utilize any animals from animal shelters in the state of California for testing. So that is not something that we do. That might happen in other states, but that does not happen here. Animals that are deceased go to a rendering company. And they are really the only company in Southern California. Almost every single shelter in Southern California utilizes them. They're in the city of Vernon. They're called TLC, and rendering is a process where they do use some of the byproducts. But as far as I'm aware, I don't believe it's for food, but I can absolutely verify. But we do pay them to take away the deceased animals. It is actually very hard to do that on your own as an animal shelter. I know because we looked into it in Orange County. And really, honestly, if you look at animal disposal, animal carcass disposal in California, there's one group that does it, and that is something that, I think looking at the new shelter, there's a couple of other new things that are coming that actually you can do things on site. But cremation also is limited by the AQMD, and it's quite costly. So yes, we do pay for rendering, but we don't do any sort of testing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name. You could turn on your mic, please. Thank
Hi,
you.
my name is Tammy Valdivia. I was here last time, I spoke about a dog that was emaciated. This same dog now has ended up in Redlands Animal Shelter, and nothing has been done to do anything. I'm not just talking about this animal. It's against the law for them to release an animal into a new owner without being spayed or neutered. This is the problem. The taxpayers are paying the money, and the animals are sacrificing for this, because all these unwanted litters of dogs and cats are ending up in the shelter unaltered, and then it causes the city to pay more, and it's a vicious circle. What she produced today, it sounds great all on paper, but it's never done. And it doesn't ever get done. And these animals, the first priority is spay and neuter these animals before they're ever released. Now, her and her sister, that was both adopted from the city of San Bernardino, ended up in Redlands Shelter because supposedly they got dumped. And I was forced to have to give her back because she was microchipped. I feel like I have let this dog down, and I will not let her down again. And I will keep speaking until my voice is heard, or her voice is heard, because this is not right. It's not right. The city needs to put more priority into a veterinarian to take care of these animals. If that's where they're going to run a shelter, you have to have a vet. You have to pay them the price that's going around for the vets. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Jan Robinson. Just a little bit about me before I get into what I'm going to say. I've lived in San Bernardino since I was 10 years old. I've attended Alessandro, Rio Vista, Franklin Junior High, which is now MLK. I graduated from San Bernardino High, San Bernardino Valley College. I worked at Patton as a psych tech, San Bernardino County Behavioral Department, et cetera, et cetera. I was married here. All of my children were born here. So you see, I didn't just get off a bus here. I'm thinking, how long, San Bernardino City Council, how long? Your list of criminals in leadership is growing, and it continues to grow. What is wrong with you? You have given millions to the criminals you knew were crooked and convicted when you brought them in. This type of behavior makes me wonder, how much kickback are some of you receiving? Think about how much positive could have been done with the over $1 million hush pay to Montoya and Carrington. These monies could have gone towards paving our streets, cleaning our neighborhoods, strengthening programs for our youth, who, by the way, are our future. Making positive plans and building our freeway access to new businesses, as our neighboring cities, Redlands and Rialto, have done. No, instead you spent monies on fraudulent investigations of honest council members like Kim Calvin, who you targeted because she called out your illicit behavior. I read the investigation complaint in the IE periodical, pointing the illegal actions of 2 council persons. Since the truth has come out about these fraudulent investigative reports on Councilman Kim, you, Ted, and Fred owe her an apology, both verbal and written, along with restoration. Some of you need to go home and learn how to live honest lives. Now we see clearly fraudulent action uncovered that was orchestrated by those of you who were voted in to protect and provide for us. You spent monies on those rigged up reports, bringing in people like yourselves to continue to destroy this city, and you sit here on this dais week after week, looking at the citizens of this city suffer while you did and do non-productive business as usual. Wow. Wake up, citizens of San Bernardino. Please be aware of what's happening and stay woke. W-O-K-E.
Thank you.
To be honest, city leaders, if there be any, it's time for you to get rid of the evil that exists among you. Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Don't worry about it. Good evening, City Council of San Bernardino. My name is Christopher Sebeliu. In 2001, I got a key from my property on this street, Gardena, 2258 South Gardena Street. And a son of my friend asked me if I can let his son to paint the fender of his car on my property. Across the street, there was a gentleman that he pretended to be the old one on the street. Well, the wind blew in that way, and he painted with the lacquer thinner, and the guy was hurt across the street. So he called code enforcement, and code enforcement came and visit my property and come up with a list of 8 or 10 things that I'm supposed to answer because I was not in according to the rules and regulations. Well, as I know, our property is not industrial, it's commercial. Right now, there is trucks in right side and the left side, 2 lots, parking lot on the right side and 2 lots on the other side. And when before rain, especially the street is only 2 car, not 2 car goes in one side and 2 another. It's very narrow. So when they park, they have to go always to almost touch to the fence on the other one. And then from the asphalt to the fence is like 8 or 10 feet long, full of dirt. Right now, if you go there, you can put like 10, 15 gallons of water as they took all the dirt, transformed it into a dust. So our cars are clean up in the evening, and in the morning you have to go back in order to have your car clean because of these trucks that are making such a mess in there. And I don't think they have right to have parking lot because it's not commercial, it's industrial or side. Plus, they have a truck reverse refrigeration. All they know next to us is running the compressor and really bother us. So I have no idea what the code enforcement does, but it looks like they're not supposed to be there. So we're not pleased to, that's our concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, meet with them, please. Thank you so much. Next speaker.
Kimberly Calvin. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. The city of San Bernardino has a history of illegally giving away public funds to people who are not entitled to them, as it was done with the Steve Kerrigan's case, and where the city gave away $800,000 to Steve Kerrigan. As it's already been mentioned, how many streets could that have been repaired? Maybe 3 or 4, but that's better than nothing. Or what would that have, those funds have been able to be utilized to hire a veterinarian? I want to show you something this evening. I printed it off of the website for the League of California Cities, and it speaks about the gift of public funds being illegal. It prohibits the giving or lending of public funds to any person or entity, public or private. Prohibition includes aid, making of a gift, pledging of credit, payment of liabilities, encompasses the giving of monetary funds and anything of value. Legislature shall have no power to give or to lend or to authorize the giving or lending of the credit of the state, of any of the county, city and county, city townships, or other political corporations or subdivisions of the state now existing, or that may be hereafter established, in and of any person, association of corporation, whether municipal or otherwise, or to pledge the credit thereof in any manner whatever for the payment of the liabilities of any individual, association, municipal, or other corporation, whatever. Nor shall it have the power to make any gift or authorize the making of any gift of any public money or thing of value to any individual, municipal, and or corporation whatsoever. That means that you cannot vote amongst yourselves to give away the city's funds. For 3 years of my tenure as city manager, I was voted as a voting delegate by my colleagues to represent us at the League of California Cities. And these are the type of things that we go there to learn. Each sitting council member currently at this moment, mayor, city council, members, city attorney, and the city clerk, and many staff members were also aware of the falsely authorized and edited report that was done on behalf of Steve Kerrigan, used and filed falsely a claim and then a lawsuit. Nevertheless, you all voted to pay him, and you voted to pay him $800,000 that he was not entitled to, particularly on the claims of which he listed. The man never worked a day here in the city of San Bernardino, yet was able to walk away with $800,000, right? Councilmember Sanchez, Councilmember Charette, Councilmember Figueroa, Councilwoman Ibarra, who has gone and left the dais at this particular moment. But it was actually that the city manager has already stated to us that Councilmember Charette, you were aware. You now are aware that those reports are illegal. Where are the reports, City of San Bernardino? Where are those reports?
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, that's all.
That concludes the speakers.
Thank you so much. We will now move on to the consent calendar, items 4 to 12. Mr. City Manager, are there any polls from you?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Barra, do you have any polls? No, she's back.
No.
None? Councilmember Canas? Councilmember Canas, do you have any polls?
No.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
No.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
Just a comment on 9.
9, okay. Mayor Pro Tem Figueroa?
None.
None. Councilmember Flores?
None.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette? Thank you for the motion.
Second.
There's a second by Councilmember Ortiz. Please call for the votes. Polling item number 9, remain balance. Please use your screen to vote, please. Oh, the screen's not available to vote?
Yeah.
Can you please do the roll call? Voice call?
Calendar usually is a little tough.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah,
Thank
it's always
you.
a little tricky. So we can maybe do a roll call vote. I'm sure everyone's
Yes,
fine with
Councilmember.
Okay.
She hears
Councilmember
that.
Sanchez?
that. Yes.
Councilmember Ibarra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember Charette? Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz for item number 9.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate what Christian Shaughnessy had said, and this is a great first step in the right direction. With the demolishing of the land, this is going to put us in the position to start working on the navigation center. So I want to thank you all for all of your hard work and for getting us to this moment right now. So thank you, and move to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk? Do you want to do a voice call?
This one should be fine. Let me
Okay,
just
this one?
bring it up. Hold on.
Do you guys see it on your screen, Council?
Can
It's
the
still-
movers select?
It's
you
still
see the option?
loading.
Okay. We'll take
Voice votes? Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilmember Ibarra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember Charette? Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. Thank you, City Clerk. We will now move on to discussion items. Item 13, fiscal year 2024-25 mid-year financial update. Could we begin with staff's presentation?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. It'll be a unified effort of the team up here, giving the City Council the 2024-25 mid-year update. First off, we are going to provide you an executive summary. We're also going to discuss and share with you economic trends both at the national, state, and county level. We'll look at city and expenditure trends. We'll look at our fund balance, early considerations for the fiscal year 25-26 budget, and a proposed 25-26 budget calendar. The purpose of the mid-year financial update is a mid-year check-in on revenues, expenditures, and financial trends. It also ensures fiscal responsibility and adapt to changing economic conditions. It provides support and context for the upcoming budget development. It's really our baseline and a jumping off point as we prepare our 25-26 budget. What's changed since the budget was adopted? We have seen a revenue decrease of $14 million compared to the adopted budget. But we've also seen a reduction in expenditures of $13.2 million, less than the adopted budget. I want to share with the City Council, we are not alone. All other public agencies are facing similar reductions in revenue due to the economy and other factors that we'll share in our presentation with you. What's changed since the adopted budget? You'll see on the left-hand side in blue, we had a revenue projection of $236 million of expenditures and revenue of $222 million today expected. So the left side is the original, and the orange is what we expect at year end. On the right-hand side, the expenditures, you'll see of 237.5 was the adopted. Our expenditures at year end are 224.3. That is our expected expenditures at the end of the fiscal year. If you recall, the City Council adopted some additional money from fund balance of over $2 million for the street segment improvements, and so that causes the higher expenditures than revenues at year end expected. I'd like to turn it over to Zoeva to talk about our economic trends, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So as we're seeing the shifts in the budget, it's important to kind of put it into some context of some trends that we're seeing both at the national and state level. Thank you. So understanding these trends definitely helps staff make some informed decisions. So with that in mind, we'll take a closer look. So at the national level, what we're seeing is a slowing in economy. So the gross domestic product, also known as GDP, in Q3 quarter 3 of 2024 stood at 3.1%. In Q4, it stood at 2.3%, which just basically means people are just generally spending less. As of January 2025, the Federal Reserve held the interest rates at 5.25% through 5.5%, which impacts the real estate and business expansion that we're seeing here in the city as well. And then overall, just declining consumer spending, which, as you know, our largest revenue source for the city and general fund is sales tax. At the state level, we're seeing in fiscal year 25-26, the state is projecting a budget deficit of $2.2 billion. So this just kind of in the context means there's a possibility of lower local funding that might be provided by the state. And so that just reinforces the concept of needing to maintain strong local reserves to ensure we're not dependent on an uncertain revenue source. The housing market, we're seeing a 4.6% price increase, but this does have minimal impact on our general fund as we don't receive the traditional property tax. We receive property tax in lieu of ELF. San Bernardino County, there's some positive growth. It's the county job growth stands at 3%, but affordability does remain an issue. San Bernardino's county unemployment rate also stands at 4.8%, which is lower than the state average, but is higher than the national average. And then we'll go into what we're seeing at the city currently for the revenue and expenditures. So at the city level, currently sales and use tax and Measure S are declining by 6%. This is echoing the trend that we're seeing both at the national and state level, where we're seeing the decline in GDP. And so overall, this just means there's slower consumer spending, there's retail sales tax that are declining, and then business closures. Charges for services are also down 39%, and this is also relevant to the interest rates that we're seeing. So that affects housing, real estate, which means lower permitting revenues for us, development fees, and then cannabis fees as well. For the other taxes, we have TOT, transient occupancy tax, that is decreasing at 20%. Property transfer tax is decreasing at 35%, and then cannabis tax is decreasing at 24% currently. On the expenditure side, we're seeing also a reduction, and this is largely due to our staffing vacancies that lead to operational savings, and our average number of vacancies that we run per month is about 100 vacancies that we have currently. And I will turn it over to Jeannie Fortune.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. As Zoeva had talked about all the decreases in revenues, we wanted to show you how the city had done in the last few years. So if you look at that bottom line, in 23, we actually received $219 million, and it went up to $232 million, which we reported last month. But due to all these decreases, we are actually projecting, which is the last column there, $222 million. So that is $10 million below what we actually received last year. And so we are going to take that in consideration. We are monitoring everything closely. And like I said, we want to be conservative. Yeah, we would rather be on the conservative side. If we get more revenues, that's great. We will report that. But in the meantime, this is where we think we are going to be at the end by June. Yeah. Like Zoeva had also mentioned, because of our vacancy vacancy factor each month, yeah, we are projecting 224 for the current year. Much as our revenues we are going to receive is only 222, I believe a couple of months ago, City Council approved 2.6 million in use of fund balance for street segment repair. Yeah, that is the only reason our revenue is, our expense is a little bit higher than the operating revenue coming in. So what we wanted to show is how does that affect our fund balance. So when we ended our ACFA report and we presented it last year, we said we were going to end with a $202 million fund balance. Because of this change and the approval of the street segment repair, we still expect us to be at 200 million at the end of this this fiscal year. So our job is to try to reserve and hold that fund balance as best we can. So what I also wanted to show council, and this is our designation. So we have so much for capital projects. We have the 15% and 10% required reserve as it is written in our municipal code. And again, to total 200 million. What am I missing? Okay, so the next slide that we wanted to show was just to give City Council and the community a 20-year history of where, financial history of where the city had stood in relation to its fund balance. So the, how do you do that? Is there a pointer? No, there's no red.
No.
So the black line that you see, kind of in between the green and the orange, that is the required reserve. So the government finance officer's recommendation is 2 months of operating reserve, so that's 17%. In 2016, the charter added that the city should make it 25%. That's why you see a little bump on that black line. Now, expenditures are in red and revenues are in blue. That blue line should always be above that red line, but as you can see, it is not. And the orange, red, orange, green, that was the city's actual fund balance each year. So I started in 2005-06 to give us 20 years, and it is orange because it was already below the required reserve. So then the city then should have already started looking at, okay, we should be more conservative, maybe watch that our revenues are not as high as our expenditures should have been. And as you can see, when the Great Recession hit, the expenditures were still so high, and eventually by 11-12, the city had to file for bankruptcy. And so when you file for bankruptcy, what Chapter 9 allows you to is not pay the creditors. So we stopped paying the creditors, but we were still getting the revenue. So it was building a little at a time. So much so that in 2016-17, the city came up with their bankruptcy exit plan. And that's when they started putting that into place. So the big bump was in 2021 when Measure S was approved. So we can say that for the last 5 years, for the city council that was here, they were diligent watching the revenues, and we were slowly building that fund balance base to what it is today, which is approximately 200 million. And as you can see, way above what the required fund balance should be, which is good. We have a very healthy fund balance. However, as Mr. Gallardo is going to continue to discuss, all the decline in revenues and how that is going to affect our future. Sir? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yes.
Me? Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, your turn, sir.
All right. Some considerations for the 25-26 budget. Well, we're in March, and we expect to bring you a budget on time and in the month of June. The city's current 24-25 year-end projections show an overall decrease of approximately $10 million, as was stated. That's about 5% of our budget. We would expect modest growth anticipated for some revenue categories. The fiscal year 24-25 revenue projection will remain conservative, as Jeannie said, and we based on current economic realities. Our key going forward as we develop the 25-26 budget is to maintain essential services. I think that's critical for all us and our community. And the council will likely see what I'll term as a rollover budget, where we take this year's expenses and really roll them over to next year. I don't anticipate us adding any staff as part of the 25-26 budget. But we'll have more when we meet for our budget presentation and budget workshop. Our goal is to ensure funds balance stability and also align ongoing expenditures with projected revenues. Quite frankly, the marketplace and the economy will largely dictate our revenue projection stream going forward. As you've seen in prior slides, we have a significant general fund balance, but we need to manage that accordingly. And I propose to bringing you a fiscal reserve policy on how we use our fund balance. Many cities have those. When you dip into the reserves for especially economic uncertainty, you've got to have a plan on paying it back. You can't just borrow and not pay it back. So I would expect to bring that to you at our workshop to have a conversation about that going forward. Our proposed budget calendar would be that we would like to have a special city council meeting, a budget workshop to go over our operating and CIP on April 23rd. Obviously, we need to confirm and check calendar availability for that week. Come back to you with a regular city council meeting on May 7th with a preliminary budget presentation and hopefully adoption of the 25-26 budget by June 4th at the June 4th meeting. And Mayor, that concludes our presentation. We'll be happy to answer any and all questions you may have at this point.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz, please use the screen to, if you'd like to speak.
So I thank you for that. I know it's been a long time coming, for community and council asking for the update. What I do appreciate is knowing that the fiscal conservativeness has gotten us to this point. But I do feel like, and it's been echoed tonight by the community, with this beautiful reserve, I do fully believe that there is going to be some sort of lull or recession in the economy coming. But there is an opportunity where we've met this equilibrium between the effectiveness and amazingness of the police department to get us at 30-year lows, and then the actual visual reflection in that. And so I believe, and I saw in the backup material and just now, is really the opportunity to do one-time costs and look to where I know Miss Andrea from HR is doing the class and comp, but really to look at, I know we have 100 vacancies, but what do the jobs look like today versus what we're recruiting for? And where can that be consolidated? Where can someone be paid a good wage to do something that may eliminate the need for a part-time position or another position? Because pension costs is what broke us. Litigation is what bankrupted us. And so I want to make sure that as we prepare for that, and this is also why it is so extremely important, especially with the housing market beginning to stagnate, we need to look at making sure we do something with our property tax. And there's no way that we are paying what we put out 10 years ago or 8 years ago, and the prices of homes has quadrupled. I bought a home for $300,000+. That was $60,000 less than 10 years ago. So I know the county's making good money on our property tax. So I just want to make sure we note that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, Mr. City Manager, just wanted a little bit of clarification. When you talk about bringing back a reserve policy, is that a policy for how to spend our fund balance, or is that to alter the reserve policy we have? We have two.
That would be a plan that if the council decided to use fund balance, I'm talking specifically about some of the economic reserves that are identified for economic purposes, that you figure out a way to pay them back. Meaning you have a minimum balance you want to maintain, 25%. If you ever dip below 25%, what is the process for going below? And if you go below, how do you pay it back? That's important, right? You don't want to ever get below a certain level. But if you have a policy in place, everybody knows if we ever get below a certain level, then we got to figure out a way to pay it back. So
this policy would be to address that, to make sure that we have, because we have these two reserves through an ordinance. So is this to make sure that if we dip below those minimums, that we have a way? We have a fund balance apart from that.
Okay.
How much is that again?
About $200 billion.
Okay, and so that we can use for, that has accumulated
100%.
over the time with Measure S, Terry Ledoux and Rebecca Kramer, we can never thank them enough. Most people in San Bernardino will never know the tremendous good they did for our city through that Measure S, which they carried basically by themselves on their back between those two ladies. But as revenues continue to drop and our expenditures, our yearly operating costs either stabilize or increase, we will be eating away at that fund balance, right? So we have to make sure that we correct in such a way that our expenditures reflect sustainability. In this case, that the revenues and the operating costs balance out, right?
I would expect us to eat into that fund balance, as you indicate, for important projects that we need. But then you don't want to get below a certain level, and that level is 25%. And so what I'm proposing is that we have something in place that we all know that we can use that fund balance all the way down, but once you hit that 25%, we will pause and figure out a workable solution to start paying it back.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make clear
100%.
and make sure that we aren't altering that reserve policy that was passed back in 2017, I believe. And it's something that has allowed us to improve our credit score as well as to exit bankruptcy. That was part of the plan we presented to the judge when we were able to exit bankruptcy.
Good. I'll look at that as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but thank you.
Councilmember, if I might add to City Manager Gallardo, fund balance, like he said, when we use it and we pay it back, it won't be used for operating. When we come back with a budget, it's going to be operating revenue, operating expense. As we mentioned before, fund balance is only used for one-time costs. So these are, you're right, important improvements that have to be done within the city, not for operating expenditures. Yeah.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, is there a motion?
Receive and file?
Is this a receive file, or
I
is
don't know.
there?
Why not? Why not take a vote? I'll make a motion to approve this with a thumbs up.
And I'll second.
Second, there's a second. Madam City Clerk?
Can we take a voice vote? Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilmember Ibarra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember Charette? Yes. Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you. Now moving on to items to be considered for future meetings. Item 14, establishing a homelessness initiatives community meeting, and Councilmember Ortiz.
Yeah, I've heard the community ask for this for the last couple years, so I just want to see if the council would like to create an ad hoc committee for the community while we have the emergency for homelessness, to bring our community and partners to the table at a city-dedicated commission meeting. That's all I'm at, if we can bring something back.
Thank you, Councilmember. Is there any questions or comments? Is there, Councilmember Ibarra?
Just briefly, already as a city, we sit on a regional board where all the nonprofits in the area attend. That would be the meeting where we should have the community members attend instead of creating another committee within our city when we already have one at the local regional board sector. And on that one, we sit on the board as the city of San Bernardino.
You're correct, and that's the thought behind it, is we go to other people's meetings, we go to the counties, their partners go over there. They're also surrounded by other cities, like we saw in the last meeting, that are trying to take our funding. So this is just an opportunity, if you want it, to have our community with our city people, with our homelessness. And if you want them at the table, great. If you don't, that's cool. I just wanted to ask on behalf of the community if you wanted to do it.
Thank you. Is there a motion for Councilmember Ortiz's request?
A motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second for a future item to come back? All right.
I'll just echo what my colleague from the Second Ward said. There's a place and time, and I think that we have made this a top priority. And the best way to utilize the limited staff time we have is to make sure that we get in those committee meetings and get some results, get the shelter built and outreach done.
Thank you, Councilmember. Is there a second? Okay, Mayor Figueroa seconded. Can we call for the votes? So Councilmember Flores motioned and Mayor Pro Tem second. Please call for the votes.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilmember Ibarra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilmember Charette, Councilmember Canas,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Oh, yes. Thank you, you guys. Thank you.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, council.
Mayor, we will now, staff will put the bones around what this is and bring this back for council consideration at a later date.
Thank you so much.
And I have, since you guys agreed, I'm also going to provide the backup material that I have for this, so definitely want to make sure I help you guys out. And again, and I didn't say this, but Councilman Sanchez brought up a good point. This is probably no more than a quarterly meeting as an ad hoc, so.
Thank you. Thank you. That includes the discussion items, and we will now move on to Mayor and City Council updates. Councilmember Ibarra, do you have any announcements or updates to provide?
Not at this moment.
Thank you. Councilmember Canas?
I do. Following a public comment, and I would like to, hopefully we're all amenable to closing in honor of Deputy Cuevas Jr. tonight, the deputy that unfortunately lost his life. I also have a Fifth Ward, our first town hall meeting, coming tomorrow at 6 p.m. It will be at Los Tacos Locos, which is located at 5244 University Parkway. It is open to all residents. I'm really excited. It's going to be focused on safety. We have our very own Assistant Chief Yeager, who is going to be there, as well as our Police Chief, Chief Darren Goodman. Fire is bringing out the whole team. They're bringing out their planning department. They're also bringing out the Assistant Fire Marshal. So it's going to be an information-packed meeting. I hope you all can attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, I believe it was last weekend. It's all turning into a blurb. I got to see Terry Washington, our very own San Bernardino resident, fight and win his second victory in his professional career. First round, no, it was a corner stoppage. So after the first round, and he had a game opponent, excellent record, and Terry Washington just ran right through him. He will be, I believe, a world champion within the next 5 years. And I think, and this is a bold statement, but in the four-belt era in boxing, we only have 5 champions who have ever been unanimous with the four-belt era. I think he has the potential to do that. That would make him a name that will be etched into boxing history. That is how talented this guy was. And to watch him live in Pomona last weekend was incredible. And it seemed like he was the co-main event. He wasn't even the main event. He was the co-main event. And there was only about 10 people left in that arena after his fight. Everyone came to see him fight. So thank you, San Bernardino, for going out and showing support for our local boxer, our local guy. But let's continue it, because we're watching history play out right in front of us. It was exceptional. It was very entertaining. So Terry, keep up the good work. You're a champion in the ring and outside. I've seen the community service you put in to his team as well. So great job. Keep it up. And continue racking up those victories.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes, attended the Time for Change open house kickoff. Great, wonderful things are happening in the 7th Ward, housing women, reuniting them with their children was very awesome. Appreciate the mayor being there. Tomorrow night, in conjunction with Councilwoman Canas's thing, we'll be in the downtown for the Civic Center Neighborhood Association kickoff. And then I have one biggie super happy. So I want to wish a happy 90th birthday to Rosemary Filippini Avila, also known as Baby Dumpling, who was born at home on the corner of Spruce and Gardner in San Bernardino. She attended Mount Vernon Elementary, Sturgis Junior High, and graduated San Bernardino High School in 1954. She married her high school sweetheart, DeRoy Joseph Avila, in 1955 at the Lady of Guadalupe Church in San Bernardino. She comes from a large family of 10 siblings, 6 girls and 4 boys. Together they had 4 boys and 2 girls. But the fruit of the tree didn't stop there. Rosemary has 21 grandchildren, 42 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren, one of which was born last night. So we are very blessed to have you here on your happy 90th. May God bless you and keep you safe and give you another 90 wonderful years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem Figueroa.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to express my deepest condolences to the law enforcement family, specifically the family, the friends, the loved ones of Deputy Hector Cuevas Jr. as well, who tragically lost his life in line of duty. It's a tragic reminder of the risks that our officers are put into every day that they put on the uniform. And so just an appreciation to all of you. But again, my heart goes out to the family, to the loved ones, to the friends, those who worked closely with him as well. Just again, thank you to all our officers with that. I also did have the opportunity to attend the Employee Appreciation Day event. So thank you to our HR department. Thank you to all our city employees. I did see Councilmember Ortiz there as well. I'm not sure if anybody else was there, but Mr. Gallardo, I know that you were there. I saw some pictures of you speaking. But in all honesty, thank you to all our city employees for the work that you do every day. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much to all of you. I also last week had the opportunity to attend the National League of Cities conferences. Councilmember Mario Flores was there as well. We were accompanied by our Legislative and Governmental Affairs Manager, Luis Marquez, out there as well. But we had an opportunity to learn about all kinds of different things, from housing to partnerships and strategies for economic prosperity, unlocking federal funding, grants. We had an opportunity to meet with Congressman Pete Aguilar as well, where we were able to advocate for certain funds, specifically, the topic that was brought up quite often out there, especially with people hearing so much about the fires that are going on or that had happened or occurred in Southern California. One of the main topics was just disaster preparedness. And so one of the things that was topics of conversation that we did have with the congressman was having grants specific to fire protection, specifically up against our foothills as well, and just having backup generators and any funding that we can get to help in that regard as well. So I'm looking forward to that partnership that we do have with the congressman, and I hope that we can be on the lookout for additional grants that are potentially coming our way, hopefully. I know that at the federal level, they're dealing with all kinds of other budget things right now, but I'm hopeful that we can still continue to advocate for grants, specifically for disaster preparedness in our city as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, I was able, as Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, I was able to attend the National League of Cities over in Washington, D.C. Incredible experience, a lot of learning from the workshops that they had. And one of the biggest things I always emphasize, like the networking, meeting the other cities that are kind of having the same issues that we are, and just building that relationship, that rapport with them. Had the opportunity with Mayor Pro Tem to speak to our Congress members. So for those who don't know, the city of San Bernardino actually has 2 Congress members that represent our city, which is Congressman Aguilar and also Congressman Obernolte. So we were, as the Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, we were able to speak on some of the funding and the federal funding and just resources that we need here in our city, especially in our foothill areas. And just to finish off, honestly, it's a privilege and an honor to be out there to representing not only the city of San Bernardino, but representing the residents of Ward 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember
I don't
Charette.
have any announcements tonight, thank you.
Thank you. I have briefly some updates. On March 6th, I attended the Southern California Association of Governments, our regional council, and the Community Economic and Human Development Committee. And in those meetings, we talked a lot about the disaster of the fires that impacted our communities. From March 9th and 11th, I attended the Yale Mayor's College and 152nd Annual CEO Caucus in Washington, D.C. It was the same time as the National League of NLC. And this experience was incredibly insightful. It allowed me to engage with a handful of mayors across the country selected to participate, as well as 150 top CEOs of the nation. and leading scholars who provide invaluable perspective on the current challenges nationwide, as you know, with the current administration. And I truly want to thank Council for allowing me to participate in this program at no cost to the city, and a huge shout out to Yale School of Management for selecting me as one of the handful of mayors to participate. On March 12th, I attended the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, the General Policy Committee meeting. I did Read Across America, participate at my childhood elementary school, Arrowhead Elementary School, as well as Vermont Elementary School, for allowing me to read to two scholars on March 12th and 13th. I want to give a shout out to the Arrowhead Elementary School principal, Dr. Felicia Noel. She made my day so special because she shared with my class pictures that I had grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I was floored to see my own self that age. So it was a walk through memory lane for me. So thank you, Principal Dr. Felicia Noel. On March 15th, I attended the Time for Change Foundation with Councilmember Ortiz. Such a beautiful, beautiful event to really do the great needs. And so shout out to Kim Carter and Vanessa and the team for doing the work that you're doing for our community. That concludes my updates, and at the request of the council and a public comment, I'd like to close the meeting in memory of Deputy Hector Cuevas. Let's take a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. I'd like to end the meeting with thanking staff. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. We have a lot of work here to do, and for your commitment. Again, we see you, so thank you. The meeting's now adjourned at 8:15 p.m. The next joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, and the Mayor and City Council acting as the San Bernardino City Housing Authority, and Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino acting as the San Bernardino Joint Powers Finance Authority will adjourn to the regular meeting to be held on April 2nd, 2025 at the Feldheim Central Library located at 555 West 6th Street, San Bernardino, California, 92410. Closed session will begin at 4 p.m. and open session will begin at 5 p.m. Good night, everyone. Get home safely.